When it comes to SUVs, there aren't many car makers who have embraced them quite as much as Mercedes.
There are small ones, there are tough ones, and there are even ones that are trying rather hard to be a coupe.
Now, putting aside the granddaddy of Mercedes SUVs, the G-Class, this was the first lifestyle SUV that Mercedes made. And what you know this car as, I think, is a really good indicator of your age in car years. I, for example, remember this as the M-Class, which I still always think of it as. Batch, on the other hand, a little bit younger than me, he knows it is the ML. It is now, of course, the GLE. This is the latest version. How good is it? Well, I'm going to be telling you exactly that in just a minute, but before I do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click on the little bell icon so you know when the latest video has landed, and of course you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and let us know which you think it's called in the comments below.
So, the GLE, well, its big rival is the BMW X5, but with 2 extra small seats in the boot, it also brushes shoulders with larger SUVs like the Volvo XC90, Land Rover Discovery and the Audi Q7.
Like its rivals, this is a big car. It's very tall, as you can see, and it's also rather wide. It's around 2 meters wide. So what about the way it looks? Well, it's a really imposing car. I mean, it's got a lot of road presence. Disappointingly, on this particular car, if you look closely at the paint job, there's a fair bit of ripple, a bit of cellulite going on along here. Let's hope it's just this car. As for the overall look of the car itself, I think it looks a little bit pouty. It's a bit like that, a bit like somebody that's had too much of that stuff in their lips, that collagen, Botoxy stuff. Batch is actually in agreement with me on that one. And another thing that is a bit surgically enhanced about this car is down here. It's got the fake vents, but then there are an awful lot of other vents to go up that aren't fake. The front is really busy, and how about this for a badge? In the game of my badge is bigger than your badge, you're going to win every time with that one, aren't you? Anyway, what do you think about how it looks? Do let us know in the comments below.
But that's enough of how it looks, because as this is a Mercedes, the interior is just as important.
Now, the GLE is the latest in a wave of Mercedes models to have a really impressive, very inviting interior, which is fantastic because this, as I always say, is where you spend your time behind the wheel driving the car. I mean, just look at the quality of the materials. The wood in here is beautiful, the leather feels refined, really nice detail in the stitching. And gorgeous stainless steel. The whole thing feels very expensive and it feels upmarket, and as I've said, it's just a place that you want to spend time.
You get some different design details to the smaller GLC SUV, things like oblong air vents, the grab handles and the slatted design around the screens.
Now, these screens are definitely worth a mention because they come as standard across the range, and just their quality by itself is absolutely fantastic. But also they work really well. So you've got a touchpad down here that you can just navigate through. It's really easy and intuitive to use. You've also got a touch screen there if you want to use that. And it lets you do all the things that I really love about this Mercedes system. So you can change the different colours and give it different themes to suit your mood. But my favourite part actually is right here in front of you. It's the digital dials. Again, the quality is just fantastic, but it's so easy to use whilst you're on the move. So you press that button there, it brings up a whole range of different options, assistance, phone, nav. What I really like is you flick along there with the button, really easy to do. You can choose different styles. So if you want a sporty setup, let's have a look. There we go, we've gone for sportier now. And then again, if you click back, bring that up, let me just show you here on the nav, you can choose to customise it however you like. And you can actually choose to have the whole of the screen filling it so the dials disappear. It's just really handy to use. And of course, it's also voice activated. It's a system that works very well. So let's say, hey Mercedes, how are you?
I'm doing just great. Thanks for asking.
Ah, it's very polite.
And you can add more tech on with the 1,495 Tech Plus package, which adds gesture control, a head-up display and augmented navigation. Why not click on the banner to see the clever sat-nav in action?
Storage-wise, well, there's absolutely stacks of it. Enormous door bins, but a huge water bottle in there. There's a really good-sized centre console with charging points and a really good-sized glove box over there. Oh, and I've forgotten about this, of course. It's got its very own perfume. This one is Downtown Mood. There we go. Kind of makes me think of Dusty Springfield. But it smells very nice. Lovely. And in here you'll find two big cup holders. One of my gripes though is that Mercedes has already swapped to this new USB-C charging system, which means that you've got to fiddle around with an adapter. So it's going to be quite irritating until you get used to that. But overall, no complaints in here at all. This is a really excellent interior.
For now, there's just one trim level and it has pretty much everything you'd want. AMG line gets those two 12.3-inch screens, Napa leather seats with the two front ones being heated, 64 colour ambient lighting, LED headlights, a sporty body kit, 20-inch alloys, blind spot and traffic sign assist, parking sensors all round along with a reversing camera.
As for the back, well, it's just as luxurious and practical as the front. All models in the range come with 7 seats, apart from the entry-level 300D, which is this car. If you want 7 seats in this, you're going to have to spend £2,000 extra to get them.
7-seat models get electrically controlled folding middle seats, some extra USB ports, 4-zone climate control, and the 2 seats that you manually fold out of the boot. Now, we're not talking Volvo XC90 or Land Rover Discovery levels of space. It's way more cramped than those, and it's similar to the BMW X5, but for children, the seats are fine. To carry any luggage, you're really going to have to fold down the 2 rearmost seats. But do that and you're left with a really good-sized boot that's only slightly smaller than the BMW X5's. You also get nets, tie-down hooks and underfloor storage, all of which are useful.
So let's talk engines. What do you get? Well, there's a 300D with a 242 horsepower 2-litre diesel, a 350D with a 268 horsepower 3-litre 6-cylinder diesel, and there's the 400D that produces 325 horsepower. But now there's just one petrol, a GLE 450 with a 362 horsepower 3-litre 6-cylinder engine, has a tiny electric motor making it a mild hybrid. All come with 4-wheel drive and 9-speed automatic gearboxes. And of course, as you would expect, there will be a couple of AMG models too. A mild hybrid AMG 53 and a full-fat V8 engined AMG 63. And in time there'll also be a plug-in hybrid. Those videos are for another day. So today we've got the diesel, and let's face it, diesel does remain the top choice for many SUV buyers. As I said, we've got the 300D here, so it's got the 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, and you know, you may expect something just a bit bigger, a bit beefier getting into what is a fairly hefty vehicle, but you know, for most people this engine will be enough as it pulls away pretty quietly and does the job adequately well. The 9-speed automatic gearbox is for the most part pretty slick, not quite as slick the further you get up the range, but you know, not really any complaints about that, and it should achieve around 46 miles to the gallon. But for some people, the 4 cylinders that you get in this 2-litre engine just won't do, especially if, for example, you're wanting to tow heavy loads. You're going to have to fork out an extra £6,000 more for the 6-cylinder 350D GLE. It is quite a jump, but you do get extra smoothness and just extra grunt that could be worth it for some people. I'm just not convinced that this 2-litre 4-cylinder feels refined and relaxed enough for the kind of car that this is. So to drive, well, it's nice and luxurious, and that's about it, if I'm being honest. The steering is pretty light and it's quite slow geared, which makes the whole thing feel quite ponderous on twisty roads. It's not particularly sharp going into corners either. A BMW X5 is a far sharper car to drive. But the ride is pretty good, particularly on the standard 20-inch wheels. If you go for the massive 22s, you'll have to spend a hefty £1,300 for the privilege. But luckily, all models apart from the 300D come with air suspension, so that should help to improve things. So let's cut to the chase. Is the GLE any good? Well, yes, of course it is. It's worthy of consideration. It's a massive improvement over the previous model, and that interior in particular is a thing of absolute beauty. It is just such a functional but lovely place to be. Look, yeah, a BMW X5 is going to be more fun to drive, but despite its rather pouty mouth, I think this car has stacks of road presence. There's an awful lot we like about it, and it's definitely the one I'd take.
If the GLE has whetted your appetite, then watch our video of one of its nearest rivals. And whilst you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the Carbuer channel and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.